All right. Hello, everybody. Hopefully, everybody can hear me. I have a little bit of a different setup right now. Oh, wow. Okay. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Dave, Juror, Kelly Ann, Navigator, Gen X, of course, KNS, Mike. So, hello, everybody. I'm going to give people a few minutes to come in, and this isn't going to be an incredibly long live today. And I don't know. You can hear me? Okay. All right, cool. So I don't know how many mods I'm gonna have in here tonight. We'll see. We'll see. So when they do show up, I don't anticipate anything crazy going on, but no, I want zero tolerance for like nonsense today. I am not in the mood. Hey, Gold Star Mom. I am not in the mood for that. And this is just part one of a few lives. Hi, Jen Sharp. I will be doing about this particular topic. However, I felt that, I've been kind of taking the past, I don't know, 2 days or so to figure out how I wanted to handle this. And based on, obviously, I, talked to my family about it, and we've kind of figured out a strategy of how I'm going to handle this. So bear with me, guys. I promise you, though, like, good things come to people who wait. I am going to discuss it, but I'm not going to give out too much information until I am able to. And yes, so hi Emma. And that's a good thing. Hey Froggy. Hey Nightmare. So because I'm determined. Like I'm sick of this stuff. I'm sick of people doing things and thinking that there's no consequences to going real life and doing these things that are just completely pointless and completely unnecessary. And I'm doing some detective, like I'm gonna figure out who did this. Not that like it was anything. We'll go into that. Hey Christine T Adams. And you know because I like to think that on my small channel, hi Nikki, on my small channel here, that I don't bother a whole lot of people. So yes, do I talk about some other creators? Yeah, of course I do. I'm going to touch on a few things about Natasha today, because I have a couple things. I was going to write everything down in a notebook, because that is how much stuff that I've been like noting that I want to mention. So I'm going to talk about her, and I've been talking about her since the get go. And most recently, I don't know if anybody here, I was on a panel with Gen X. The Gen X enters the room. I was on her panel. It feels like it was yesterday. Hi Michelle. Hi SA. Oh, Gen X right there. Okay. Hi Barb. Outside the box. If I missed anybody, I apologize. And I'm glad to see you, Michelle. So I was on her panel, and I kind of did a kind of summarized like how I got into the situation that I was in with Dorothy. And I kind of went into that, and I talked a little bit about it on Melissa Jade's panel last night. I apologized if I hope I made sense on there. Like I do take medication at night, so like right when she started mentioning my name was like right after I had taken it, so I was like struggling to stay awake to kind of talk on there. So I was like, oh, that was probably not a good idea, but apparently people liked it. So that's all I care about. Hey, hashtag shy, and bear with me, guys. This is probably like the most people I have had in a chat. But yeah, so we're going to talk about a few things. And like I said, guys, I am not going to be holding anything back. I'm not doing any of the, censoring and filtering, because you know what? Nobody has the same courtesy for me. So I'm just going to say what I need to say. Now, I will say that, so I'm not, I honest to God don't know what's going on with this. So, I was contacted by a few people that said that I should hold off on talking about this because apparently Dorothy is having surgery. I don't know what's going on with that. I do not know. So, it's like the day has changed and stuff. I'm not sure. So, I don't mean this. And if that's the case, obviously I don't have ill will towards anybody. So I wish her healing thoughts, a speedy recovery and all of those things. I just want to make that very, very clear. And this isn't going to be like a bashing set. This is not what this is really going to be. So I'm just going to go into the events that have happened recently because I want to address it. And I'm sorry. Let me see if I missed anybody. Hi, Julian Jackson and Denise. And if I missed anybody, like I said, I am so sorry. And obviously, yeah. So I'm trying to get all my thoughts. I have ADD, guys, like diagnosed, medicated. So like, since I was a kid, so my brain is always like going 1,000 different places. But So I like to think that I don't bother too many people, but lately, I'm sure that some people, because I think we're all, even if we don't really like a creator, sometimes we'll watch them anyways. So I'm not sure if anybody has been following what's been going on Dorothy's channel lately. To me, it seems like, in my opinion, that since Natasha is no longer on here, there's like a couple creators that are kind of scrambling to kind of fill those shoes, which I don't think that I think Natasha's kind of on a league of her own with that, in my opinion. But and I think that maybe that is why things have been amped up to 11, because honestly, guys, so I feel like I shouldn't even have to say this, is that there's like a whole bunch of conspiracy theories going on, saying that everybody is like conspiring against her to take her channel down, or something. And it couldn't be more silly, because first of all, I don't even know some of the people that I saw mentioned. Like, I don't even know who they are. And Juror and I had never spoken prior. And before that, Kim and I had never spoken either. And that was the first time. So now it's like this whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, I saw that, Christine. And and I'm not, and I don't know what exactly I did. I mentioned her, and I made a video because, I was really hurt by what she did to me and what happened. And, that was something that I wasn't ready to bring to YouTube, and what she did. And, honestly, it's bizarre because, like, I don't understand people that think, I don't know anyone who thinks that way, but, to think that I would be making something up that's like the most shameful and embarrassing thing that I've dealt with in my life. I'm sorry. I'm not, I get emotional about it because it's embarrassing. And to come, to make that up, to get information about her, for what? For what? YouTube isn't that serious. I don't take it that seriously. Apparently some people do, though. So, hi, Glitter. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see everything. Yeah, right. I would love to. Oh yes, Rody Gal. I gave you a wrench. Yes, I've been meaning to do that for a while. But yeah, well, I think what it is, though, is that it's the people, they want Natasha's displaced subs. And there's a lot of them, and they're very angry. And I have a lot to say about that as well. So bear with me here, because there is a couple things about Natasha that I need to address as well. Not that she's come at me, but just some observations and my own thoughts and my own. I am talking currently. I'm talking about Dorothy. And so, yeah. So when she did that to me, obviously I was angry. I kept my mouth shut because I didn't really want to rock the boat. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So how I got into that situation, for anybody who wasn't over in, Gen X's live that she did the other day. So basically, when I first came on here, when I first came onto YouTube, I've never done this before. So I had no idea how to build a channel. I've been in this community for about a year, but I had no idea how to build a channel. I had no idea how to do anything. I had just started making videos. So when I came on, I'm going to be honest, and I don't mean this at any jab towards her, because I love my adoptive mother very much, but I have not always had, I was adopted, but I also have not always had the best relationship with my adoptive mother. So, the only thing that I can do in self-analyze myself here is that, if there's an older woman who, comes in and like takes me under their wing, that's something like that I fall into in my life and in the past, and not always in a bad way. Like, that doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? So, and I didn't know her. Actually, that's not true, because I figured out where I know her from, and I figured that out actually the other day. But I had heard her before on a panel, but it was under her Dorothy Marie at that point, and I didn't realize it was the same person, and I don't know how, because her voice is kind of unmistakable. But so yeah, so she took me under. She kept saying to me, she was like, "Oh, you're doing a great job. I love your channel. You're doing really great on the videos." And she, was trying to tell me different things I could do to start my channel and really take me under her wing and kind of, teach me the ropes of YouTube. So, and at first that was all well and good. Because, she was kind of talking about Natasha, and that was something that I was doing at that time. And, it worked out. And then, eventually it kind of like went into a direction that, started getting kind of toxic. So it started going into this realm of, when she started going after Granny's watching, I'm okay with people calling people out, right? So, whatever. If she wanted to go on there and call Granny out for something Granny was doing on YouTube, I mean, that's her right to do. But when it started escalating into these like long rants, and like I started kind of backing away because I didn't really want to be a part of that. And I did say something. I did say like to her privately, I didn't agree with some of the things that were going on. With showing Crafton and Kim's the whole incident with them. I didn't like that was put on the screen. I didn't think that should have been handled like that at all, not even close. But I was kind of made to, long story short, I was put in a position where I kind of felt like I owed her, like, and she would, kind of reinforce that too. So, I was like, and then there came a day where I had just had enough. I had had enough of it. I've had enough of, feeling like I was kind of trapped in a corner where, I wasn't quite sure how to get out of that because, like I wanted to get away from her, away from what she was doing to Jess. I didn't know how, because it got to the point where I was like, she has this whole group of people that are, my main support system at this point. And, I wish I had handled that situation differently. I've said that 1,000 times, and I mean it like to the bottom of my heart. I do. I should have just gone, it shouldn't have been a big thing. But, so I basically said on a live, I said, I am going to literally go down the list of every creator in here, and I'm going to say what I really think, because I wanted to kind of just get it all off my chest, like just say what I think and what I like feel about everybody in the community, and then move on from there. So that live was approaching, and I was going to do that. And that is when all of this dropped. Now, why I think all of this dropped, why I think she turned on me out of the blue. I think it was like almost to like kind of intimidate me. I'm not sure, but it worked. It worked. When she did that, I did a live after that. And then I didn't do anything like drama since then. Because I was like, I don't really want to run into this. But, as I've gotten better at YouTube, as I've kind of like found my place and found my voice at this point in time, like, I just don't care about that. Like, I'm my own person, and I am a strong person. She can say I don't have a personality. Well, she can stick around and find out, because I do have a personality. And even if I didn't, I'd rather have no personality than be somebody who like gets off on being cruel to other people for no reason. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Hashtag shy. Exactly. The love bombing. Right. And I see her doing it to other young female creators as we speak, and I see it. And, I know the mindset, and I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, well, I would never betray her. So, she would never turn on me. Here's the thing, guys. I didn't betray her either. I never did what she in her head was convinced that I did. She was convinced that I was like an agent sent by Red, Kim, and Crafton to, get information about her and bring it back. And I was a plant. And she's still talking that sort of nonsense about a lot of different things. And Juror now, of all people, who's been nothing but an excellent friend to her, and the nicest woman on like the planet. Like, I don't really know what there is with that. But and like I said, since I was on that panel, I got to meet some other people. Yes, I am talking about Dorothy. Yep, I am. And so I'm trying to read the chat too. Like I said, ADD, guys, ADD. Yeah, so I just, and I see it happening again, and it is a pattern. So I got to speak to some people from her old community, who were on Gen X's panel. And, apparently this is a pattern. However, a lot of people who have known her prior have said it's gotten a lot worse. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure. Hey, Country Joe. I'm not sure if this is like a show to kind of say, here, I can do this. I can take over what Natasha does. And, because, you're going to get that sub count, but like at what cost? Like, is building your YouTube channel really worth being awful to like and burning bridges everywhere? Like, I don't think it's worth that. I wouldn't throw my friends under the bus for YouTube. If she's seriously thinking that these things are going on, it might be time to log off, is what I feel, because, at that point, it's like, just delusions, and all of that. So that is what I'm thinking, because none of what she has said about me is true, except for the fact that, yes, I have struggled with with substance abuse almost my entire life since I was 14. And I've had periods that have been really good. I've had ups and downs. It's certainly been a journey, and I deal with it every day. But that was not something that I came on here to talk about on YouTube. Not because I was trying to be dishonest, not because I was trying to hide anything about myself, but it was because I genuinely didn't think it was relevant. And I am still dealing with, a lot of shame and embarrassment about that time. It took until this past July for me to forgive myself and, like, I'm sorry, accept that I'm a good person, because I've done some really bad things. I have, and I don't want to go down that path too much. Hi, Mrs. Portland. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you unblocked me. Hello. And anybody else who's coming in, I'm trying to keep up, but so that was what was embarrassing to me. So I never said anything else about it. I just kind of went back to my own lane and shut my mouth because I was like, I don't want her doing this. So at this point, though, I want to make it very, very, very clear. Anything else that comes out of her, right? Thank you, Denise. It is my story and not hers. Yes, exactly. And that's how I felt. Anything else that comes out of her mouth about that, none of it's a lie, because I have either said myself anything that she knows, or she's already said it. So anything else is a lie. And I'll address each and every lie. I have not watched her recent tirades because I can't. At first I was listening to it and it was all fun and well, and she was talking that I had no personality, and I was laughing actually, because I was like, okay, well, we're grasping at straws here. But then she went down the whole recovery thing again, and I was just like, I can't. And then 8 hours later I clicked on it again, and her chat, I still saw B being tagged in the chat, so clearly she was still talking about me 8 hours later. I didn't even put the volume on because I don't want to hear people talk about me. Now, the problem is, though, is that if I don't do that, that's how what happened to me recently happened. So I want to make it also very clear that I am not saying that Dorothy had anything to do with this. Okay. I want to make that very clear because I don't know. I cannot prove that Dorothy, I will not say that she set this up, that she said, I don't know. And honestly, I don't care. But all I know is that, and what I'm willing to say out here publicly, and I will be going late. I will go into more detail when I can. I'm handling this in a certain way. But some people have found out that my family was contacted, and there was a message left on a voicemail that specifically mentioned her name. So, and it was not her. Okay, I want to make that very clear as well. It was not her. It was not her. The number, I know that you can get these apps and stuff. So the only other information that I'm willing to put out publicly at the moment is also, I say what was said, and I will also tell you that the number was from a Texas area code, specifically the Dallas area. So I don't know if that jogs anybody's memory of thoughts. I'd rather you not put it in the chat because I won't see it probably. But if you would email me, if that rings a bell, if that makes you think, and who that might be. They did not have what I consider a Texas accent, so there's also that as well. So I don't know if it was like one of those pretend things. I have not called it. But I assure people that I will be playing the voicemail, not tonight, but when I have been told that I can. But it's and I felt horrible, when I got the text that that had happened. I felt sick to my stomach. I almost threw up because I brought my dad onto the platform, to share with you guys and to kind of share the true crime stuff. So but unfortunately he's coming on here using his name, and I looked for myself. It wouldn't be hard to find, and please don't, guys. If you want to blow up my phone, blow up my phone. You want to harass me, please. Like, I'm seriously, like, I am asking you very nicely, harass me. Please do not bring people's families into things ever, because they have nothing to do with it. And this person was clearly concerned. And I'm trying not to get angry. Okay. This person was clearly concerned about Dorothy, and about the fact that I think it might have been the video that triggered them. I'm not sure, but they also mentioned me. what was it? How did they put it? I was pretending to be someone I'm not, and to pretend I have a substance abuse problem for sympathy and money, I believe, and I'm scamming. And I'm, yeah, pretending to be someone I'm not. I'm also harassing a sick elderly woman, Dorothy. That's what. So I'm sorry, Dorothy. They called her elderly. That are not my words. That's this person's words, not mine. Um, and yeah, so there was that, and there was one other thing. Oh yes, that my dad must be very embarrassed. That's right. That's right. So to be associated with me. So and yeah, yeah, and this person didn't sound really that old. I mean, like I said, there was no accent. It was definitely somebody from the US, although, I know the Country Joe does a really good accent that I would never know she was Scottish if I didn't know better. So I know those things can be faked too, and I know numbers can be faked. So I don't know. So, but I felt sick to my stomach because, I felt like it was my fault because I came on here and shared my dad, and it wouldn't have been hard to find, and I was like, oh god, I put people that I care about in this situation, and that's the last thing on the planet that I would want to do. But that's what I'm talking about. So I will be sharing the voicemail because I do want to figure out who it is, because because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people doing that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though, Penny. I mean, that's what this woman said. Not my words. Not my words. Okay, so I want to make that pretty clear too. Elderly was not my choice of words. I know that she's like in her early 50s, maybe late 40s. So I don't consider that elderly, but that's what makes me think that maybe it's somebody younger. I'm not sure. But yeah, and the voice sounds a little bit familiar. Now, I will say that the voice sounds like somebody I've heard on NC's panel before. That I will say. And that's the thing, though. What did I do? What did I do to deserve that? You want to clap back at me. You can clap back at me. I would really prefer that you didn't, spew lies for hours and hours. I would really prefer that the clapbacks be, based on something that's real. But I also understand that, she doesn't have anything without the lies. So unfortunately, that I guess that's where we're going to have to go. And I expect backlash. I do. And that's fine. But I'm also not gonna, keep my mouth shut. I'm not gonna be intimidated anymore. I don't play games like that. I'm not playing games with stupid people. Like, this is all a game for some people, and I believe that very much so about her. I believe that this to her is entertainment. I believe to her this is a game. I believe to her that she actually enjoys this back and forth. And having an excuse and outlet to be very nasty to people. And, she can be quite vicious. I think we've seen that. The things that have happened is just, and a lot of it is based on like delusions. And that's what makes it so upsetting to me and dangerous, is because you don't even have to do anything. It could be you could wake up one day and you could be Dorothy's target. End of story, there, and you might not even know why. And that's it's disturbing, guys. And it really needs to stop. So like I said, I think she has my phone number. If people want to harass me, they can harass me all they want. That's fine. You harass me. You can blow up my phone. You can blow up my email. Just please leave my family alone. Please. They don't have anything to do with this. And my parents aren't elderly. They're in their 70s. They take care of themselves, so they don't really look it or anything like that. But, so they don't understand YouTube culture. They don't understand how this works. They don't understand any of those things. So when that stuff happens, it's confusing, and it's I had to explain, and I had to be like, no, I'm not doing these things. Like does that sound like me? No, of course not. And not at all. And then there's a lot of people doing stuff like that too, though. And it's not just me. And I realize that, obviously there's been a lot of real life going on, and much worse. And it needs to stop. It just needs to stop. And I can't even, I thought that, with Natasha gone, that kind of stuff would stop. But clearly it's just moving to another platform. And that's what I'm trying to say, though, guys, is that there is no reason for it. I can go back and forth. I can take a clap back, fine, go for it. I don't care. You want to call me boring? You want to say I have no personality? You know what? Go ahead and look shame me too. I really don't give a fuck. You can go with that too. I know what I am and I know what I'm not. But the lies, It's the lies that bother me. And it's not just me, it's her friend Juror and anybody who has been on, and Country Joe, who has been a good friend as well. Anybody who's been in her channel knows, Juror was always coming up there and helping. And, Country Joe would host lives with her as well. And, they've always been, you know, especially Jur. I mean, I know Country Joe, you've had some issues with her back and forth at times, but look how immediately she ran to people, your haters. Like it was like immediate. Like it didn't even take any time. Like, and honestly, Country Joe, I'm gonna say this right now. I don't think what you did was that bad. Like you heard your name and you went up on a panel. Like that wasn't you running to go talk shit about. Like I don't even think you mentioned Dorothy at all on that panel. When you went over to I think it was Kelly's, that wasn't even about her. So I don't understand why that warranted the reaction it got, but that it did. So yeah, Detective Turtlegum, you've been talked about quite a bit by her too, huh? I was trying to figure out all of those things. Yeah, because she's talking about Detective Turtlegum too. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. There was like a mod chat that she was showing because I actually, got up the courage to listen to hers. Not the courage. I don't know what the right word is, but to kind of watch some of the stuff. And honestly, I mostly heard, most of what I heard was about you, Detective Turtlegum. And some about Country Joe, but mostly the part I listened to. So I don't understand like what her whole thing, and she's like trying to figure out who's who and like who's from where, and yeah, and who's doing what with who, and it's like this giant. I just imagine that like her entire wall is like all these post-it notes and pictures with strings attached to them and like these tacks, all of that stuff. And that's what I'm saying though. It's like that's how crazy it is. Like I can't even explain it to you. And like I said, like I don't dislike anybody either, and all I had said, I think I had mentioned her in a live, and then it was literally like while I was live, she went live, and that's when this all started again. And then it was hours and hours and hours and hours of it. And and her chat can be quite nasty, guys. I'm not really sure if anybody else has noticed that, especially now that, and I, like I said, I like some people that frequent Natasha's chat. Like it's not all bad, nasty people. Like there are some good people there. I need to make that very clear. It's not all of them that participate, but a lot of them do. And they've moved there or to some other people's as well. But, the chat was just appalling. And that was the other thing though, is that, when I kind of left that, it was freeing. It was honestly freeing because I felt like, after I kind of got, because I was in shock. I was dealing with something in my personal life at that point in time where, I really didn't need her to reveal my deepest, like, something that's really, really embarrassing to me. And I'm really like grateful that I got the amount of support that I did from you guys because I wasn't sure what to expect. But when somebody's saying you're faking having a substance abuse problem to get information about them, all because like there might have been a miscommunication about something, which I can easily clear up. But you know what? Do I feel like I have to? No. It's none of her business what medications I take. It's none of her business or anybody's business. If you don't want to believe me, then don't believe me. I mean, I can clear it up, and I mean, if I feel like I need to do it, I will. But she's, if she feels like she's the only person on YouTube that I've told this, then, she's wrong. I actually, the first person on YouTube that I told about this was Granny's Watching. And I had, messaged her about it because we have a lot in common with that, way before I even talked to Dorothy at any point. And she never released that information, even when we had her falling out with that. And I appreciate that. But, it's not like this was the first time I had mentioned it. I could, if you look at the dates, like, I would have had to, it doesn't make sense, but, I'm not going to go through every single live. I will go through the ones that I feel that I need to defend myself on, but it's ridiculous. And I'm so tired of it. I am so tired of it. And I am going to find out who made that phone call. So if they're listening, mark my words, I will find out who made that phone call. Because nobody's happy about it. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate to call somebody's family about something on the internet. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not doing anything that I'm embarrassed by. I am not doing any of those things. When Sorry, I get really worked up about it because it's not okay, and it's happening so often. And it's like I can't stand it. And yeah, so I mean, I also have a lot to say about Natasha because I've had some revelations. I've been doing some thinking about that. I don't know if anybody, she was live earlier today, not on YouTube, but I think she was on last night on somebody else's channel, and she said some interesting things that I was gonna address as well, because I found some of those things to be incredibly interesting. Um, yeah, and just like, everywhere you go, there's somebody else that the friendship that she's burned. Like I couldn't believe how many people were coming out with their own stories about that. Because on the live I did with Gen X, there was a lot of ladies and very similar story, and she's done much worse to others. So, it's like, yeah, when does it stop? Thank you, Cece. And I'm trying to read it here. If I have a mod in here, if you want to post Gen X's channel, I'm okay with that. I would appreciate that. And I'm just like, and if she does it to me, guys, if you get anything out of this, it's that be very careful, okay? Like, be very careful, because I'm not going to name the creators that I see it happening to now, because I'm not at that point where, because they haven't done anything to me. But there are some, and you could probably see it if you go to the chat, that she love bombs them. They're clearly talking. I just don't want anybody else to fall into that situation, because she wants to get people to feel like they owe her, and not to. And that's how I felt, and maybe that's my, partly my fault. Because, like I said, guys, I'm not going to go into like why I am mentally the way that I am in my life, but intimidation, Gold Star Mom, absolutely, and I can't think of a better word. And it worked for me at first. It did work. It sure did. I stopped. I didn't mention her. I made a video in response to the substance abuse thing, and that's it. And I never mentioned it again until recently, when I did a video, because I had started to see the behaviors again, and I was informed that I was being discussed again, and I made a video. Yep, I sure did. And did I compare her to Cruella de Vil? I sure did, because it's uncanny. You just put in the YouTube search bar, put in Cruella driving, and tell me that's not uncanny, because it is. And everyone knows that I think that Natasha is Ursula. So, it's like a duo, and people ship them too online. So I'm like, this is wonderful. Yeah, and there's been a lot of hurt that's gone on here. I just want people to be careful. Keep your guard up. Don't think that just because Natasha's gone, that there aren't going to be people here that are going to be behind the scenes. And I am also going to be doing a live on that too, because I have things that people need to know. I sure do. And I will be coming with receipts. I need to gather all of them. And guys, it is time consuming, because I need to redact things in some of them, because I'm not going to bring other people that don't need to be brought into it. You know what I mean? So it is time consuming. And I do have, a family, and, I'm a full-time grad student. So like I do, it's coming along. But there are a few other things that I need to point out that people are not going to be happy about. And they're not going to want to hear, but I need to do it, because people need to know what goes on, not, behind the scenes. People need to know what people do to get information from other people. They're going to love bomb you. They did it to Jur too. Like with me saying that to Jur, her videos are so great. She's getting so good at doing her videos. She's doing a great job. She said the same thing to me. And then, all of a sudden, now that, her and Jur had a falling out, she's, going on about how Jur's videos suck, which I don't think they suck. I think she does a great job. And same with me. So it's like all of a sudden, like that takes away your credibility, though, because like, which is it? You either like somebody or you don't. Like, it doesn't make sense. Now, the other thing that I found interesting, and this is a Natasha thing, is that yesterday, and I don't have anything against this creator that I'm mentioning, so I want to make that very, very clear. Just because they're friends with Natasha does not mean that I have no issue with them. I don't really know them. But I believe she was on Tia's channel last night, and they were talking about the whole makeup thing, and and I have some things to say about that as well. But what it reminded me of, because Tia went to bat for her and said, she had bought makeup from her, and that the makeup wasn't, nothing was wrong with it, nothing was anything like that. It was, everything was good to go. And saying that she would be the first person to call her out, blah 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 blah. So but then I'm thinking to myself, how many ex mods or ex people from that community have come back? And if I could go and find in her content, how many times have other people gone to bat for her and said things, and then after there's like a falling out, like they tell the truth about what really was going on and what really happened. So honestly, like I don't take anybody's word for anything on here ever, because I can't. And also, it's like, I don't trust anybody. If somebody says they love my channel, like I can't help but in the back of my mind think to myself, with a creator anyway, is it because they really like my channel, or is it because they want something from me, or because something like that? Because that's what I'm saying though. Like, does anybody have an opinion anymore? Because remember how many times when people would leave Natasha's, they would be like, oh, I never liked, I'll use Siren as an example. When he left the first time, they were like, well, I never liked Siren. I always thought he was, X, Y, or Z. And, I didn't like his makeup and his singing was bad and all of these things when they were like love bombing him prior to that. And then when he came back, then all of a sudden, again, because Natasha welcomes him back, all of a sudden they didn't mean all the bad things. And it's just this endless cycle. And I just have to ask, like, that's disturbing that, one creator could have that much of an influence on people. And it's true. It's absolutely true. And I just think I'm talking about like subscribers. With creators, I think it's money moves. I think it's business. I think it's politics. I don't think that a lot of that is genuine friendships that you're seeing. Now, I could be wrong. But I think that there are like people, they know what's going on with that. But, so I'm listening to all of this, and it is scary, right? It's very scary. Right. And why bother to pretend, Remy? You're right. Because I just would prefer people be real. Like, if you don't like me, that's cool. You don't have to like me. But it's just, it's nuts. I can't be the only person who noticed this stuff. And yeah, I don't have a problem with Siren personally. I never have. But it was like, I felt bad because as soon as he left, it was like all of these things. And then Natasha just threw him away and was like, what she was, at first said she was upset. Now, I think that she used him for a sad fishing opportunity. I absolutely believe that. But that's just my opinion because, I have a lot to say about Natasha, and I know that she doesn't like it when she's gone and then people talk about her, but, I'm sorry, it's going to happen. But, and she's being as nasty as ever too. Now, I thought for a little bit, I don't know what you guys think, but I thought that maybe she had hid her true crime channel because, think about it. Like, the outrage is just would have been like cranked to a 20 and, then all the money would start coming in. However, based on her behavior that I'm seeing, I think that, she might have been taken down. Now, and now she's trying to say that she doesn't even like YouTube anyway, and that she's much happier elsewhere and blah. That's a lie. She wants to be here. But and yeah, and I think that there's now new legal funds that I've heard rumblings about. Can't confirm, this is me hearing stuff secondhand. So, where's that 20K though? Like, where's your lawyers? Where's everybody getting you back online? Now, I thought to myself, maybe she hid it. And then, because she hid it, she would be like, well, see what my lawyers did, when she would unhide it. And that would kind of confirm in subscribers' minds that she's not lying to them. That's kind of what I was thinking. But, I'm not really sure at this point. But I could tell you right now that 20K is long gone. That is long gone. And I think that what's most upsetting to her is that she's grown accustomed to having this amount of spending money to, shop on Amazon for useless things like handheld chainsaws that literally nobody needs, in multiple colors, mind you, because, why not have multiples of those, right? And she's not paying for them. So there's that. And then, her gambling. So, for her, it's like, it's all really upsetting to her to suddenly lose that. And that's what I think it is. But, and it's like, I don't understand how people don't see that. I don't understand it. Look at what she does to people. That many people can't talk about things and it not have some validity to it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm going to think going forward, though, because people did warn me about Dorothy. Yeah, a lot of people tried to warn me about Dorothy, and I didn't want to hear it. Because I'm one of those people that I have to learn for myself. But, by the time I realized that I was like kind of entrapped in this web, it was too late for me to like, I was stuck and I didn't know how to handle it because I'm a human being and we don't always know how to handle things, right? We just don't. Yeah, there's Natasha was making an obscene amount of money on here. Yeah. But I do see a lot of like, I'm sorry, B plus after dark stuff, my language here. I do see a lot of fuckery going on here still. And I feel like now that Natasha's gone, it's kind of revealing more things that are going on behind the scenes. And some other people that really have I've been waiting for their day, and Dorothy is one of them. Um and I'm generally a nice person. I really am. I don't like to be mean. I don't, but I can be, especially if you slight me. And if you're going to come after me for no reason, then yeah, I am going to clap back. And yeah, I am going to talk about, everything that I see and, all of that. I really am because I'm not playing games with people. And, I'm not, like I said, not saying get any knowledge of somebody calling me, but, if she does, I strongly suggest, that, quitting that behavior and telling people not to do it because no, you shouldn't be doing it. That is going real life. Whoever did that, that is going real life. All right. That's what I'm saying. Contact me, blow my phone up. I do not care. You can call me at all hours of the day and say as hateful things as you would like. Just don't call my family. Thank you. End of story. Moving on. I don't know I'm not familiar with Twitch. So, um, yeah, and I appreciate there's a lot of people that have like come to me afterwards and have said that they're sorry. And I think that there are some people that are from, Dorothy's community that have come over here with me and they still go there. And that's okay. I'm not judging people for that. What I do judge people for though is if I see you participating in that conversation. And there were some people that I was surprised, honestly, that were participating in that conversation about me. A lot of people think that they're medical experts on here. A lot of people think that they know everything there is to know about, medical university of Google, or because they've had a certain experience with a medical thing that, nobody else could have a different one. While they're like, and have you ever noticed that it's always somebody's like, they're like, well, my son's fiance is a doctor, so I'm an expert on this. How many times do we hear that? Or like, my brother's a lawyer, and that makes you an expert on the situation. You have no idea like what goes on between me and my doctor and what I, struggle with and what like the details are. And you don't need to know those things. And I just don't understand that. Like, mind your business. Like, I don't go into your medical records. I don't, speculate about your medication. Although, I strongly suggest some people on here maybe consider getting on some. Um, I'm just tired of it. It's all these people that think that they know all about, mental health or, none of them are licensed psychiatrists. And even if they were, it's illegal for them to, come on here and give diagnoses on here to people they don't know. That against ethics. So they wouldn't be doing that anyway, I would hope. But when I was looking in that chat, people saying that there's no way that I'm taking X, Y, or Z because of all of these things. I'm just like, are you serious right now? Like, what do you know about anything? And oh my God, I want to I want to punch people in the face sometimes. I really, really do. But I always noticed that with Natasha too. Like, there was one time when I think it was Carolyn, Mommy Ramblings, when that whole thing when she got COVID, and you had a whole bunch of people in Natasha's comments saying that, and one of them literally said, my son's fiance is a doctor. And I was like, okay. And they went on to make it seem like they are somehow an expert because somebody they know is a doctor. And I was like, dude, like, that is not how this works. Like, that is not how this works. So I'm just saying, like, that should be another thing that's off limits. I don't want people going after people's medical records either and stuff like that. That's not your business, right? All right. I'm not going to go after yours. And I don't really think anybody really went for Natasha's either. I don't know what the fuck that was about when she was on here saying that somebody contacted her doctor. Dude, there's laws against that. Like, that's not something that happens. You can't just call a doctor's office and, request, pretend, or impersonate. It doesn't work like that. As far as I know, it doesn't. But, it's a great sad fishing opportunity. She's very good at that. Why would anybody want her medical records? I could go into the medications that Natasha has literally said out loud that I have clips of that she takes that don't make sense. Because there's many that she said that she takes that don't make sense, but I'm not going to go into that. And I have the clips to prove it. But yeah, it's against HIPAA. That's right. That's right. You wouldn't do that. Like, that's not what you would do. And that's, yeah. So there's just so much going on. Now, do I think that she'll be back? Yeah, I do. I think she'll come back at some point. She's trying to play it off like she doesn't care, but I think she does. And she will continue to pop up on, Yeah, right. Loki's mom. Exactly. Exactly. But Natasha literally said that somebody called and like requested her medical records, and I'm just like, that's not how like you can't do that. If that was the case, don't you think that like people would do that? Like there's a lot of situations that I would see people, being nosy and going into those things. I've worked in a pharmacy when I was in college, and there are really strict protocols against those things. Like, you don't just answer a phone call and they say that they are X, Y, or Z. Like, they have to have credentials, and it has to be from that phone number that is like registered to there's I mean, it's changed now since like, because this was years ago, but it doesn't work like that. So I want to go, and I wish I could still go through all of Natasha's content and just point out every little sad fishing opportunity, because that's all it is. And I don't understand how people don't. If people want to give their money to her, fine. That's fine. If you like her and you want to give your money and you want to donate, that's fine. But what I don't like is people being bribed, not bribed, but like made to, playing on people's emotions to manipulate them and make them feel like they need to, the one thing that they could do to help you is give you money. And that's what I'm hearing now. Although I did hear, because I did pop in, I hadn't watched her on any other thing before, but I did pop into her Facebook thing today, and she wasn't on there, but there were two other people there, and I'm not sure who. And they were like, somebody said they're in the chat, and I was like, oh, Natasha's not going to like this. But they were like, yeah, I think as for the new legal fund, I think Natasha has all the money that she needs. So, and I was like, oh, Natasha's not going to like that. Not going to, yeah, it literally said that. I was like, oh, no, you shouldn't have said that. If Natasha was here, she would have been like, oh, yes, well, I could use more. But like, where's that 20K though? Like, why do you need more money to do this? She's not any knight in shining armor to get bullies off the internet. She's scamming people. That is a scam. It's a hustle. Now, I wish I had I should have prepared for this. And she says that she was like, oh, I buy things wholesale from Ipsy and like BoxyCharm or whatever. And the one thing that I can prove from that is that I also get Ipsy, and she was selling off. So I have a picture, I have screenshots of it too, and videos of her selling it, and her from her own mouth saying how much she's selling it for. So it was a pallet, and it was a bundle of five items, including that palette and a brush set and some other things, which she sold every one of them. Total, 5 items, total $50. It was selling for $50 on Ipsy's site as one of the flash sales. And she literally was selling each item from that $50 bundle for $20. And that is, that's shady. I'm sorry. That's very shady. Yeah. So I'm just like, I can't. And then she's saying, well, anybody could do it. And I'm like, okay, but like other people don't want to rip people off. I wouldn't be comfortable ripping people off. If I'm going to sell it, I'll sell it for less than what I paid for it. Honestly, like I'm not going to scam people like that. That's a scam. That's a hustle. Like she hustles. Like that's what she does. Now, I did find it interesting what people were saying about the dumpster diving aspect. I did not know that was a thing. Now, I have worked retail, and I know the whole claims out process. I'm not entirely sure about if like Ulta or like Sephora gets credit for their write-offs, or if they just throw them into the dumpster. It really depends on the store. I know at Walmart they can get credit for some of them, but not all. So that's entirely possible. She's buying a bunch of stuff that was in a dumpster that are in boxes, sold for discount. I mean, that's entirely possible. Can't prove it, but I looked into it. I was like, all right, well, that could be a thing. I don't know for sure, but all I know is that you need to be careful. Well, I'm gonna do a whole live about something different, but look at expiration dates always, guys. Always look at the expiration dates, because that matters. Especially when you're buying like a skincare thing with active ingredient like a retinol or something, or especially vitamin C, guys. Vitamin C really can't. It's not shelf stable. I could go on and on about the scams of the skincare industry, but yeah. So I don't know what's going on with that, but all I know is that it's like. She was a problem with a lot of things, but there are other creators in this community that I'm not even going to mention at this point in time. But there's some shady stuff going on, guys. They're really I think we're seeing screenshots. Screenshots are starting to come off of people's conversations. Now, I'm not really a big fan of that. I think that everybody is guilty of talking shit about other people behind closed doors. I think that's something that humans do. And anybody who says that they've never done that, I think is probably not being honest with themselves. No, I'm not saying that that's what I'm seeing. I'm just saying, like, I don't like everybody on here, and I've had issues with people that I no longer have issues with. Have I said some things about them behind the scenes? Sure, I absolutely have. Yep. But it's not anything I wouldn't say to their face if I had to, or haven't. And there's all of that, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like, I don't want the real life stuff anymore. And at first I was like, you know what? This is intimidation, because what I said is I'm going to go on any panel that will have me, and I will talk about my experience with Dorothy until I'm blue in the face. And I will go into all of the sneaky things that, go on over there, because she plots and schemes, and she really does, and she loves it. And maybe she should get a job, writing soap operas, or I'm sorry, like maybe teen dramas or something, because she's quite good at that. But in her head, she's orchestrating this whole thing, and and it's delusional, guys, and it's obsessive. And once she like zeroes in on you, like I am going to be the content forever. And you know what? If she wants to go into all of those things, I really would hope that she didn't, because I don't go into hers. I've never so much as Googled her name, because I don't need to do that, because I don't care. I don't care. But, if you want, I'm a very boring person. That's true. You're not going to find much on me, but like contacting my family is taking it to a level that's inappropriate. And I'm not going to let that happen. You will not contact my family or bring them into this. Like, it has nothing to do with them at all. And I can't stress that enough. Yeah, she does. Yeah, Rodigal, I agree with you on that. There's just a lot of really stupid stuff. And I'm going to be talking, but yeah, I don't think she wanted me to talk about it. I think that this was a flex move to get me to be quiet. I think that she thinks now more than ever that I am behind the scenes talking about a whole bunch of people. Yeah, and Amber, I really appreciate, and you were one of the people that reached out to me about that, because like I said, guys, like, I don't like to talk about this because it's still shameful and embarrassing to me, but like, having medication has given me a second chance at life, and I'm not going to get emotional about that either, but it's given me a second chance at life, like if I wouldn't be here otherwise. All right. And, there's a lot of stigma and there's a lot of shame about that. So if I had wanted to come on here and talk about that, I would have done it myself. I didn't need her to come on here and talk about those types of things, because, if you didn't know, if I didn't tell you, you probably wouldn't know. Sometimes, you can tell if it's, like I when I take it, sometimes it makes me, kind of sleepy, but, it's like usually I'm quite animated, and you wouldn't tell if I didn't tell you. And it's like, yeah. So I didn't want to bring that on here, but it gave me a second chance at life. I would have, trigger warning on here, but I would have either, I would be dead. I would be dead otherwise. No doubt about it in my mind. None, zero. And it's given me an opportunity to have a life and have a quality of life. And that's what it's there for, but you have to do the work too. It's not, easy. But I didn't want to bring that here. I didn't want people to know that about me. It's just not what I want. And obviously there's that as well. Like, I come from a family where, they're really great. They're wonderful. I don't want that getting twisted at all. But, I come from a family that's, upstanding in the community. If anybody's, seen my dad on here, and that's not the way that they would like me to portray myself on here either. So, because I don't know for a lot of reasons, but because I'm doing better now. And I think especially with, I don't want to go into my personal issues, but for them to see that and be sad about that, obviously they were like, that's not something you do. Like, you wouldn't make that. First of all, they know I'm not making it up. But second of all, like, I'm not scamming people for sympathy and money. I don't get that. That doesn't make sense to me. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's their opinion, but I don't know. I'm sorry. I get like, it is embarrassing. It's embarrassing to me, and I shouldn't be embarrassed. There's a lot of wonderful people that, have struggled with similar issues in their lifetime, and it doesn't make you a bad person. But like I said, it took me until this past July to forgive myself and actually have those words come out of my mouth that I am not a bad person and that I don't deserve. I'm sorry. That I deserve good things in life. I'm sorry, guys, because I've done some awful stuff. Oh my god. No. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm good. All right. I don't mean to, yeah, and I am proud of myself, but it's hard. Anybody who's been through it, I mean, it brings you to a low. Like, I've always been a good person, but when like things like that, are in your life, you do things that you normally that are wrong, but you do them anyways for other reasons. And and then I'm not using it as an excuse either, because a lot of people will also say that. They'll say, well, that's not an excuse. Well, I get it. It's not an excuse. I did those things. Yep, that was me. I sure did. And I regret it every day of my life. And some of those things I'll never be able to forget. And, but I can just move on. I can't go back in time. I can't fix it. All I can do is keep myself on track. And do I always succeed? No, I don't. I've had years, like, periods of years where I've been better than others. Like I said, guys, this is something I've struggled with since I was 14 years old. Like, this isn't new for me. But this is probably one of my longer stretches of doing well, and I intend to continue that. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The other day brought me to a really low place. Like, when my when I had that, somebody call like that, I was in a really low place that night. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, if I didn't have somebody here with me, I would have made some bad choices. And I can't do that, but I'm not going to allow YouTube to bring me there. And it shouldn't bring anybody there. YouTube should be, if you want to come at me, you want to come at my looks. I really don't care about that. You can come at my looks. You can come at me being boring. You can come at the fact that I have a small channel and don't have a whole lot of subscribers and stuff like that. You can come at me for all of those things. Just don't bring my real life into things. Okay, I don't do it to you. I don't do it to any single person on here. No, nobody. So that's all. Yeah, and I agree with you, Amber. The people that have been through those things are the strongest people, because you actually have to do the work on yourself. You have to address all of those things that nobody wants to face in themselves at all. And it's hard to do. And I don't owe her an explanation for anything. Like, she says that she's had all of these, her struggle and her issues and stuff like that. And I never questioned that. I never asked, said to her like, oh, well, where's your receipts? I would never ask somebody that. Like, why would somebody make something up like that? That doesn't make sense to me. What information, Dorothy, was I trying to get from you by saying that? Like, I really would like to know, because I don't understand the purpose of that. It doesn't make sense. So I would like it if she could get a grip. Yeah. And Country Joe, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see a lot of people in here. Honestly, that makes me really happy. Yeah. And that's that. And now that she has Natasha's people over there, it's getting worse, right? It's getting worse. And I don't, okay, how do I put this without being, what I'm afraid of is that these people will encourage her to continue to be very nasty and to turn it up, and she's going to start seeing that support, in that subscriber count. And I think she loves that, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that's, it's a dopamine thing, right? So, I mean, those of us who have struggled with substance abuse or an addiction of some sort, we know what that is, that when that dopamine, it's the same, nerves that are getting hit that, as somebody who's in you guys get it. I don't need to explain it to people who know. And I feel like that's one of those things. She's very obsessed with numbers. She's very obsessed with, all of those types of things. She's obsessed with, just being the first for things. She was very upset that anybody thought that TT was the first channel to speak out about Natasha. She wrote me a long rant about that once, because, I don't know what she wanted me to say, that she was talking about Natasha first. Like, I was like, it doesn't really matter, does it? Like, does it matter if you were like the first one that spoke out about her? I don't know. But she gets very concerned with those things and the numbers, and she wants to, she would always tell me like where I should go and what panels I should go on and who I should and shouldn't trust and all of those things. And I'm not going to tell those people those things because I'm not going to do that. I don't want to cause any more rifts and anything, but I mean, those people probably have heard the same thing, except maybe about me, and hold on. I was gonna try to do. I'm afraid now though, CJ. CJ got peen bombed earlier, so I'm like, I'm afraid to like drop my link on here. But I've gotten over my fear of panels, because I interrupt people constantly. It's the ADD thing, but I've been on two panels now recently. I've been on Natasha's panel a few times under a different name on camera, actually. Once, actually, both times on camera. But I guess nobody will ever see that again. But yeah, I don't know. All I want though is that, if something's going on with her, I truly encourage her to like get a grip and maybe sign off and get some help on that. Because people have said that this is unlike her, and this is not unlike her. It's a pattern, but it's escalated. So I don't know what's going on with that at all, but it can't, like, if it gets worse, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And I see her in the chat, that girl, and I wanted to apologize to you actually for being kind of snippy with you in chat the other day. I was in a mood. And I misunderstood what you wrote. So, I'm glad that we got to, you explain that, because I understand what you're saying now, and you're absolutely right. I took it the wrong way, and that's my own fault, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap at anybody. Because you're very nice. You've always been very nice to me. So, yeah, there's just a lot. Yeah. And I also wanted to point out though, guys, is that, a lot of thing that I hear from, like NC people is that like, well, if NC is gone, well, first of, other people should be too. Well, okay, that's a whole other discussion, but we don't actually know what Natasha's gone for, right? Like, I don't think anybody knows for certain. Maybe somebody can correct me, but on all those channels. So first of all, we don't know what it is, because I don't see anybody else in this community doing, these giant PayPal pools or selling things quite like she does. I know Mommy Ramblings has like community sales. I don't know if that's like crafts that people make. I have no idea what the difference. Obviously, she's not, hustling people, but I don't know what the rules are about the selling. So I'm not really sure it was that, but but if we don't know that it's bullying. We don't know that. Are there some people on here that are problematic? Absolutely. Yeah. Are there some creators on here that have done things that, maybe they wish they had handled differently, or, could be sure, but that's not the conversation. Like, you can't say, well, Natasha, no, the fact of the matter is Natasha is gone because of her own behaviors. Nobody did this to Natasha but her. I hate the fact that she's saying so like viciously that they took my channels, because guys, these people, like, if you go in her chat, you'll see that she has people that come there every single night. It's part of their routine. This is their life, like, not a lifeline. And I do feel bad for those people. I do, because it's not their fault that Natasha is awful, but like, they count on that community, and that's what they do with their night. Maybe they can't sleep at night, maybe they can't, or it's where they can go and chat. And a lot of people become very entrenched to that, and it becomes very important to them. So when it gets taken away, they get very upset. And I'm seeing that because there are some people that I have seen. There are some people that were crying because it was gone. I saw some people saying some really disturbing things that I feel really bad. I encourage them to maybe, maybe find a therapist or something. I don't know. But, I saw some really not interesting, just disturbing things that I really, it's sad to see. But for her to say that we did this, our channels took her down, it makes these people very, very, very angry. And I believe that that's dangerous, because I don't know I honestly don't know what people are capable of. And obviously there are people that will go real life. And if there's a reason to go real life and all of that, then it's going to be this that's going to set them off. Now, I also want to say though, that Natasha has a bigger channel than, I don't know if most of the people on here. So let's be honest, I would say that it wouldn't have been mass flagging either, because, let's be honest with ourselves. Natasha's community has probably come over here and mass flagged, people like Granny's Watching. Or, I guess now Brittany is one of the new targets. I'm pretty sure that, probably hundreds, if not thousands of people have flagged have flagged Granny's watching. I'm not sure about that. I don't know, but she kind of hints that she wants people to do it sometimes. So do you think if it was really because of that, you have a larger community, you mobilize your audience very well. If it was that, don't you think that other people would have been taken down if they were doing something wrong, right? So no, that's not the issue. It's not because Natasha's doing things that other people are not doing. End of story. And she's evading the ban, which doesn't help her situation. And no lawyer would have gone on there and said, yes, make another channel, and evade the ban. And, nobody would have told her to do that. That is the last thing a lawyer would say, in my opinion. I'm not an expert. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't go to law school. I don't know what these, I don't know. Just what I would think. Because yeah, it's ridiculous. Hold on. And she knows she can mobilize that audience. So I'm doing a whole class. I actually wrote the first part of my final paper about this community, guys. I sure did. And about, this and subs are collateral damage. And that's what I'm saying. There aren't all bad people over there. Like a lot of us were over there at one point or another. And it's sad because, a lot of people, they're on late at night or they can't sleep or maybe they're lonely and, they're not getting out much. And that's their community. I actually hesitated to leave because that was in my community as well. I think a lot of people haven't figured out who I am yet. And they don't need to know. It doesn't matter. I don't want to relive my Natasha days at any point in time, because I was going through a really rough time in my life there too. And it became a community for me. I think for a lot of us, we do need a street sweeper in Annex. Yes, I agree. Because it's like, now that she's on, there's turmoil in the streets. Everybody's kind of run out of the building that was Natasha and they're rioting in the streets. And a lot of people don't want to go onto Twitch or Facebook, obviously Facebook, because it's your name. Now, I will say that, I would think that people, and I'm not it's not victim blaming. I'm not even going to justify it, but don't say if you're going to go into her chat, don't say I'm so-and-so on YouTube. I know you want to, because then you have those connections with people. But let's be honest, guys, if Granny was the one who was forced to go over to Facebook, and people went over there and did it, do you not think that Natasha's people would be screenshotting those things as well? Because they would. We know they would. There's no doubt in my mind. So that's just kind of how this is working in this community. So I'm not surprised people were screenshotting that. I don't think that, anybody needed to call the police over that. And I'm sorry that, I'm just being honest with people. I would be much, I would appreciate, you shouldn't be digging into people's Facebooks. I mean, but it's going to happen if it's online and it's public. Unfortunately, people are going to do that. So people aren't going to want to go onto Facebook. She didn't have a really big audience today. I had never gone and looked, but I did today. And Twitch is weird. I mean, I feel like Twitch is more for younger people, like younger than me, even. I feel like is their target demographic. But I there are older people. I get that, but a lot of people don't like change. They like to be on YouTube. With my YouTube Premium, I can shut off the I can listen to videos and not have my screen going. I was trying to do that listening to her with Facebook, and it doesn't let you do that, and that irritated me. So I just went on my laptop. But yeah, Beeplus. Wait, what? You just noticed my screen name is Beeplus? Beeplus, I don't even know why. It's become a marketing tool, just like Natasha's recliner is her marketing tool. Bees are mine. I'm actually allergic to bees, and they terrify me because of that. But because I never have an EpiPen ever because they're expensive. But I probably should. It's probably expired, honestly. But yeah, it's a gaming platform. That's right. And I'm just imagining her playing Sims and like getting all of the creators that are in here and like, subscribers she doesn't like and just like, abusing everybody in a giant Sims house. That's what I imagine her doing. That might be a game that's low key in her style. Yeah, Facebook, right. I don't like the style of that. Facebook, I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook anymore. I just don't. I used to be on social media quite frequently. But I have no interest in, I'm just on YouTube. I mean, I have other accounts, but I have a Twitter, but it's for school. So you're not going to find anything interesting on my Twitter. You're just going to find a bunch of stuff about marketing and, the stuff that is boring, but that, that's all I have. I don't have a TikTok or, I think I did one TikTok video once. And it was a long time ago, but yeah, and I hope I'm being clear with what I'm saying. This is just the first of. I'm not going to play the recording yet because I'm doing some research. I'm doing this per advice that I'm getting about how to handle this, because I do want to figure out who it is. I do want to do that. I have sent it to some people privately, um, to see if they know, like people that have been around for a while. I have sent it, to see if they recognize it. But until that, I'm gonna wait a couple days until I do that. I don't. Yeah, because I have a feeling that we're gonna crack it, guys. It sounds like somebody I've heard on NC's panel. It really does. I can't put my finger on who, but it sounds very, very familiar. Um, and if they did that, if that person's listening, like, shame on you. Like, would you like it if I did that to you? I wouldn't do that because I have no desire to call anybody. But like, I brought my dad on here as, like, to share him and his expertise with everybody, because I know that there are people in this community that enjoy true crime. They enjoy that psychology type of stuff and criminology. And I should have known better. And I feel kind of stupid. I feel sick to my stomach about it because it's my own fault. But that's why I'm making 2 channels too, guys. So I'm going to do this, and I will be doing drama on this. I've made that clear. I'm going to own that. I will be a drama channel on Beeplus. I will. This is a drama channel. This is commentary and drama. Because this is going to be me unfiltered, because I've figured out what I want to do here. And I am also doing another channel, which I need to get the link working for. I don't know why it's not, called True Crime Detective, which is going to be a whole other format and true crime and stuff like that. So it's going to be separate. So I'm owning it. This will be a drama channel. This will be where I will, talk about stuff in the community and call people out, and comment on stuff that's going on. And right now, that tonight the topics are Dorothy and Natasha, but I have some other people in mind as well. Some that might surprise people, but there's some other behaviors that have been going on that, I think we need to talk about. We do. But right now, those are the 2 main things on my mind for personal reasons. And yeah, that's all. YouTube Premium is wonderful. If I have, like, no budget for anything else, I will always get YouTube Premium. I hate advertisements. I have Hulu Premium. Anything that has ads, I will get premium for, because I hate them. But yes, actually, I don't know if Mrs. Portland is still in here, but if she has her email, I have something to send her that I made, about her, not in a mean way. It's actually really fun. A long time ago, and I meant to post it, but I didn't want to upset her. And she had me blocked, so I thought maybe she had left Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube. But I made a video, of her doing some fun thing. It's a fun video. I think she'll like it. So I have to remember to send that to her. It's a song, so I think she'll like it. Hold on, I haven't been looking at the chat, and I wish I did. Oh, you're still here. Okay, Mrs. Portland, do you have an email in your about section? I want to send it to you. I made a song out of, it's fun. I think you'll like it. I was going to post it, but I didn't think you were on Facebook or on YouTube anymore. This was a while ago, but I'm going to post it. I think you'll like it. That was like the only, I've made a couple videos that are just fun that I want to post. Okay. I'll go look, Mrs. Portland. Thank you. Hold on. Yeah, right, Kellyanne, though. And that's the thing. Like, I don't want people to, I don't like people that do that either, though. The faking of, like, health stuff on here. And I'm like, when people jumped on Jess about that, I'm like, just because you guys would do that does not mean that anybody else would. Jess, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, she didn't want to come on here, and like her or not, she didn't want to come on here and talk about that. That's something that she was dealing with personally, and she felt that she had to because it was mentioned. But she didn't come on here to talk about that to Sadfish or anything like that. Like, I'm sorry, like that's what Natasha does with stuff like that. But that's a serious disease, and people shouldn't have. I did not like what I saw with people talking about that, especially in Dorothy's chat. It was really, really gross and disappointing to see. Because I will judge somebody very heavily that lies about those things. I don't think she's lying about that, guys. I would be willing to bet a lot, like, everything I own on that, but that's not this conversation. But I'm just saying, though, guys, like, what I was seeing, though, is if somebody comes on here and they say that they're sick, it's so, like, it's so telling that, because we've seen so many, like, things go on coming from Natasha's camp mostly, that, everybody just assumes that people are lying or it's fake or all of those things. And it's sad. It's sad. Because, there are some people that maybe want to come on here and talk about those things. or they don't. And, obviously the minute you come on and say it, people are going to say you're lying. So I already know that anything that comes out of my mouth going forward, people are, they're going to be those naysayers that are just going to say that I'm lying about it. And that's fine. You can think that you can believe me or you don't have to. I feel like I still have some credibility left here, because I do value honesty very much in my life. It's how I was raised. And I've always like value, especially since I've been getting my life back on track. It's definitely one of those things that I've been super conscious about. I don't like lying. Guilt is a very, very dominating thing in my life. I get very guilty about things. I can't. I'll tell you I lied if I did. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I lied to you. Because I feel like there's karma, and I feel like if I lie, that puts bad karma out into the world. And I have no reason to, right? Like I don't, and I have nothing left to lose on here either. So I think that makes people nervous as well. I think that while I am not going to share private communications with people, not, or else I am redacting things very heavily, which I am working on. There are some things I am gonna put out. Yeah, I sure am. But I need to redact a lot of stuff because there are some people that don't need to, that nobody needs to know anything about that. But that's the thing. Like I'm not gonna keep my mouth shut anymore. Like, I know that she does like to orchestrate drama. She does want, I don't trust a lot of things when it comes from that because, she knows how it works. You have a falling out and it ends up benefiting both channels. Now, I will say that, with me, it's usually the opposite. When this happened the first time to me, I almost expected my sub count because everybody else, like their sub count usually rises because it gets their name out. For me, I mean, afterwards, my guys, I'm not lying when I tell you, until about a week ago, I hadn't gained any subscribers at all. I had been at like right over 500 for 2 months at that point because I had lost about 126 subs. And I am just now like recovering from that, which is excellent. But that's the other thing. Like, I wish people would admit that on here too, that they're a drama channel. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a drama channel. It's a genre, right? You don't have to be a piece of shit to, it doesn't make you a bad person that you want to do drama. This is going to be a drama channel. We're going to do drama. We're going to do commentary on here too. But but that's what people here like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wish people would just own it though and be like, yes, I like drama. Oh, thank you, Mr. Portland. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who's subscribed to me lately because I have a good sense of what this direction is going to be. Because I've been part of this community for a while, and I've always kept my mouth shut out of consideration for other people's feelings because, I saw this as, and I can't think like that because nobody else is going to do that for me. And, I have to go into this knowing that in relationships that people are going to throw me under the bus the first chance that they get. And that's okay with me. I get that's how this works. But I try to give people the benefit of the doubt and give people chances. But hold on. Yeah. Oh, there was a creator that faked that, isn't there? That girl. I can't remember her name. And it was somebody that kind of like is adjacent to this community. I can't remember who it was though. And that's a really awful thing to do, guys. Like, also, cancer's not something to joke about. It's not something that, no, that bothers me. Like, I'm dealing with that in my personal life, not with me, my biological mother. So I don't think that that's something that, I would never, I don't have respect for people that are going to fake stuff like that. Yeah, that's on. Oh, well, really, Jill? I did not know that. If that's the case, then that's really messed up, and I take offense to that because there's a lot of survivors in this community. That's right, Kellyanne. I was thinking of you actually just now. There are some survivors in this community that have fought very hard to be here still, and it's fucked up. It's fucked up to like kind of try to do that for monetary gain or for sympathy. I don't know what it's for, but there are some people here that are survivors. Yep. I'm not really familiar with her Gold Star mom. I will look into that though because if that's the case, well, really, Michelle, I trust you. So if you're saying so, then that's really messed up, and shame on her then, because that's not. Come on, guys, we're better than that, right? She's on another creator's channel talking for like 30 minutes about how, yeah, right? Like, she's what's Natasha talking about on her other oh, you're a survivor too. Well, I'm glad that you're here. Like I said, I know that it's a hard fight. I've watched, I am currently having to see that. I had no other really exposure to it prior, but it's hard. It's hard. It's hard for everybody involved, the family and everything like that. Yeah. Yeah, Ginger, I'm not going to mention that. Yeah, guys, please be careful with that though. I need to yeah, Michelle, I don't want to go down that road. Right at this point. I need to verify things before I allow that. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate and that's I wish people wouldn't do that. Come on. Come on. Let's not lie about things like that. That bothers me. I'm sorry, guys. It just does. But, I'm trying to, yeah, Natasha's talking. Who was she talking about today? Brittany's panel today. I think Brittany is now target number one. For some reason. I don't. But guys, Brittany's really nice. I don't know. I don't really know what Brittany. You can't control. I'm going to address that actually. You know what? You can't control what comes out of people's mouths, right? So like if I bring somebody up on panel and they start talking, how am I supposed to vet information, in real time? Now, and when it's somebody talking about stuff that's that personal too, I feel like I might be uncomfortable even saying in my opinion afterwards, or like, clarifying, because I feel like it almost discredits the person who's speaking. And with stuff that like that, I don't know if yeah, that's a hard situation to be in. So, yeah. I mean, I would hope that people aren't coming on here and just making stuff up entirely, but it's the internet, so it happens. But I don't know. Right. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Hashtag shy. That's exactly what it is. And Natasha doesn't like that. And I feel like, and she's like, well, people wait till I'm gone to have people. Well, yeah, because people were, intimidated by her. I'm sorry, they are. People don't want to be Natasha's next target. People don't want to be the person that gets dragged. And like what she did recently to Christiane was disgusting. That should have never I mean, what she's done to a lot of people should never have happened. She's dragged many people in a way, like, yeah, you as well, Mrs. Portland, in ways that's just completely inappropriate. But when I heard what she did to Christiane, I'm gonna tell you guys, I was like, that is another low for her. Like, what did Christiane do? Honestly, what did Christiane do to deserve that? Nothing. So yeah, it's oh god, I am just so frustrated with that. Like, but people are coming out because they're not afraid anymore. And I'm not saying that like, and people always equate fear to like, weakness. That's not true at all. I'll be honest with you. I was kind of afraid to come on and do this live, but I'm not afraid anymore because here's the thing. It's the internet, anything that you've done. So like anything that anybody would say about me that would be embarrassing and real, I've either said myself to address it, to kind of get in front of it, or it's been told for me, and we're over that. So I'll dispute lies. If people want to go on here and lie about me, they're just making themselves look like idiots, because it's clearly lies. It's delusional. Yeah, hold on. Right, and I'm gonna start doing panels as well. I've gotten over my fear of it. I do need to figure out how to hold on. Yeah, you're gonna right, and that's what I'm saying. That's that girl. That is my whole mindset, because people are going to come at me and they're going to lie about me no matter what. So why am I keeping my mouth shut out of other people's feelings? I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to talk about what I know. And I'm an observer. And I'm also one of those people that, there are things that I've seen and that I know that, I haven't seen, people haven't mentioned yet. And you know what? I have no problem being the one to drop it either. And I will. Because I'm not going to do anything that's low or inappropriate, but I am going to call, there's some stuff that needs to be brought to light, but I do need, like I said, guys, I do need to work on it. I have to redact stuff. I have to get it all together, before I can show people, but I'm going to, it's just a project because there's a lot, there's a lot, because people need to know what's going on behind the scenes. They just do. Like, you need to know that, a lot of the stuff is done to get an emotion out of you guys. It's meant to get people. Yes. And that's what I do, Ladybug. And that is what I am. That's what I always try to do. I need to vet things. Not only do I want to vet things though, and when I say things, I do my very best to say in my opinion, or it's speculation, or else I know it's fact. That's really what I try to do. Do I always, I'm impulsive. Do I say things sometimes that I probably should say that before? Yeah. But I really try to do that because I don't want to be somebody that doesn't vet vet information, because that's how misinformation spreads, right? So that's how people, like, if I'm going to be lied about, and then somebody takes that as fact, and then they run, because people do, you gain this relationship with a creator, and if it's a creator that you trust, you're going to believe what they say a lot of the time, and then, like, some people will take that and run with it as fact, and then it goes, yeah, I know that girl, I know. Yep. And I actually, and like I said, I'm an observer. So even though I don't talk about it, I see things. And I see, I'm very good at, usually a good judge of character. But like I said, when it's like an older woman that kind of takes me under her wing, that's a whole, like, that's a me thing. So like, that's my mommy issues, for lack of a better word. That I'll be, and and it's not always a bad thing. I've had some really strong, positive, older female role models in my life that, but my relationship with my adoptive mom is much better now. But that's a recent thing. So yeah, really. Yeah, and receipts can be faked too, guys. That's a good point, though. Like, I need people to know that. I have some examples of screenshots of ones that I would be willing to bet. I would be willing to bet my last dollar are doctored. So that makes it hard to trust anybody, and so that's, like, puts me in a position where I want to be as transparent and honest as I can. But I'm not going to be quiet about things anymore, and I think that's what is upsetting to Dorothy, is that I'm gonna start speaking out. I'm gonna start, clapping back, as she says, because you're not gonna spew lies about me for hours and hours and hours on end and expect me to just, put my tail between my legs and go away. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just getting started. Yeah, sure, that girl. Yeah. I don't blame you. People who have been in this community for a while, they know. I mean, we've seen stuff. I mean, I've suspected some other things I've seen are fake. I haven't, talked about it, like some stuff from Natasha. She does show receipts from, like, Amazon things, but, like, I have to think to myself, like, she could be taken. Obviously you're not going to show somebody's address, but she was showing, because like I said, I did go on Facebook and watch her for a little bit. She was showing purchases that she had made, but it didn't say where they were going or anything like that, or it just had the number, like the items and stuff. Oh, Ladybug, yes. Lately, so what happened is that about a month or two ago, Dorothy decided to tell all of YouTube things about me that I had told her privately, and then make it into a whole conspiracy theory. So that is when I backed away from her, had that falling out, and I hadn't spoken about it because I didn't want to go down that road with her again, because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my channel. I, wasn't ready to admit to myself that I wanted to do drama, but I do, so I will be doing drama. But and yeah, so I said something about her. Yeah, I don't even remember what I said in a live, but it was something that I upset her that I had said, I guess. And she's been going on about me for hours and hours and hours and hours at this point. She hasn't been on a while, but it's like in some of her past lives. I don't know if she privated them, but she's going on about me faking, being in recovery and all of these things. But and then the other thing is, and like I said, I need to disclose this because I cannot prove it. I cannot prove that Dorothy had anything to do or any prior knowledge of what happened. But my parents were contacted not last night, but the night before. There was a voicemail left on the answering machine that specifically mentioned Dorothy. So there's that. Oh, it was about Crafton picture. Oh, yeah, that was the first time. Yeah. Well, I called her out on it. Yeah. So she had was making fun of Crafton, who was attacked by a gentleman outside of where he worked. I think it was in the news. And was like, was hurt in the process. And she was laughing at the picture of Crafton, who had gotten hurt. And I said that was messed up. I said to her, like, I don't appreciate you handling it like that. I can't get behind it. I also said that about her posting when that all of that went down with Crafton and Kim. She posted that record. Natasha did as well, but I didn't like that either because that's not our business. And what goes, it's complicated. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't comfortable with her laughing at a crime victim. I think that's disgusting. And she didn't like that. She also didn't like the fact that I had a live planned that I canceled afterwards and kept my mouth shut, which I shouldn't have. I should have just done it anyways. That I was going to tell the truth about how I felt about everybody in the community. And there was also a live that I had done in defense of Granny's watching that I had after something was done to her that was really bad. One of because there's been many things, but I can't remember exactly which one. But I had made a video pre-recorded about about uh, about that situation, and it called out Dorothy. And I didn't realize that if I posted it later, that it would have a live chat in it. So I posted it, not realizing there was a live chat going, and the live chat got really bad. So I took it down immediately. The only 15 to 20 minutes were played, and those 15 to 20 minutes were something that she didn't like it. So and I understand because I understand why. But I never posted the full video of that. So that's what started it. But this time, I'm not really sure what started it this time. Apparently, Juror and I are just public enemy number one. And, Juror, who's been a great friend to her and, all of that. But she gets mad about really strange things like that, though. I mean, she got really mad at Jerv for being in Jessica's chat at all, and saying that was a betrayal to her, and also trying to tell her to not go at because Jerv would always be the voice of reason and would be like, Dorothy, we maybe we don't want to go down that road. Maybe we want to let's get back on in our lane, and we can do the drama, but we don't have to take it to a way that really Diamond Eyes, yeah. Relentless about yeah, that's what I'm saying though. And Natasha, what Natasha did to Kim is disgusting as well. I don't think there's anything funny about that. I don't think that there's anything, I don't care if you like the person or not. I happen to like Kim, and Grafton, of course, very much, but, that's me. But I had never spoken to her prior to, when Dorothy thought that I was, her secret agent or whatever. I honestly never spoke to them privately until maybe like 2 weeks ago. And, I don't know what to tell people about that. But yeah, oh, God. Oh yeah, everybody's an alt. That's right. Everybody is an alt for Kim and Crafton. That's right. I am Kim and Crafton combined. That didn't you hear? I am Kim and Crafton, in disguise. And yeah, and right. And it's not our business. And I think the situation was really complicated. I immediately kind of figured out what was going on because I've not experienced something similar, but I dated somebody that had seizures, and I can see how that situation, but it's none of our business. None of our business. And I didn't think it should be talked about on here. The only person that should have come on here and talked about that was Kim and Crafton. And at that point, they had not done that. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. And like I've also said about things, though, is that, people get really outraged about things on here. And I don't know, guys, people need to look at the big picture, right? So, as my dad was saying in one of them, not all murders are the same. Like, if you talking about recidivism, some murderers, like, look at the reasoning behind it. If somebody was in like a drug-addled craze, if they're sober, they're, very unlikely that they would do it again, or if it was like a heat of the moment or something, it depends. And there are some situations on here that I think people get really outraged about, but what people need to do is you need to look at the reasons behind why some things happen. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I feel like, there's some stuff going on that I'm going to be speaking about very soon that I'm seeing where it goes with that, but it's not okay. It's especially the domestic violence thing. And she was still talking about, she was saying something about it the other day. She was talking about, I saw a video come up, and I'm not exactly sure who was behind this channel. I can't remember it, but it was basically, making fun of Kim and Crafton and all of that incident. And I don't understand why that's funny or why people are supporting that. I don't understand why we're liking that video and why we're commenting that, with laughing emojis. What is funny about a man, a domestic violence situation? Especially if it's that. I mean, their situation, it's more complicated than that, right? Okay, like, people need to understand that. But, like, let's say it was a domestic violence situation. That would make that, what happened even worse, than what they're saying about that. What Natasha did with the music and all of that, that was gross. Although I will say, yes, Melissa J did own the internet last night with the dramatic reading of the petition to reinstate Natasha to the song of Sarah McLachlan's Arms of an Angel. It was fabulous. I hope she still has that live up. I believe it was like 50 minutes in, if I heard correctly, when Kim was recapping it this morning. But it's pretty fabulous. So I suggest people go and watch that, because she did a really great job. But that's the thing. Yeah, there are people here that are just so dead convinced that, Natasha didn't do anything wrong. And then they get outraged because they're like, well, if Natasha's gone for that, then these people should be too. Guys, like, look at your own logic, though. You have a larger community. So if, and she mobilizes people very easily, you don't think that people haven't mass reported Kim and Crafton or Granny or, anybody else on here that speaks about her? Because I'd be willing to bet that they probably have. And that's not going to get you taken down. And if you're not doing anything wrong that's against terms of service, like terms of service and being a good person are two very different things, in my opinion. But yeah, her loss of income, bullshit. She said herself that Dalton pays the bills and stuff like that. What she's missing out on is like her opportunity to scam people. And, I find it interesting that like there's people that are dropping her PayPal, and Dorothy scrolls her payment information at the bottom of the screen. Like, and she offered to give her channel too at one point in there. And I'm like, dude, like, I don't understand what you think you're going to get from Natasha, but Natasha's not stupid. Like, Natasha's a lot of things, but she's not stupid. She's very business minded, and not always in a great way. So everything is like a game for her as well. Now, Dorothy's very similar in that way, but she's more devious and like, for lack of a better word, evil, without logic. And Natasha's got logic and reason. And, I can't imagine that. And Natasha got mad. She called me out on a live once because I had said in Granny's chat that people were just teaming up with her out of money moves, as a business strategy. And she got very upset about that. But I'm like, Natasha, don't act like you don't know that. Like, how, like, she knows that. She's not stupid. She knows that people are going to team up with her for one reason or the other. And I'm actually really impressed to see some people step away from that. And I don't have a problem. Like, that's what I'm saying. If creators want to support her, I'm not going to judge people for that. I judge people on their behavior. So if people want to support her, and that's fine. I'm not going to, I can't, what can I say about that? But if they're participating in it, then yes, I will. Yeah, that 20K, guys, and she played that real well too, because she can draw that out. But like, people just need to use their brains. They need to use their brains. Like, there's been bigger and like really more affluent people with a lot of disposable income that have tried to get stuff taken off of YouTube, and that they fail at it. It's hard to do that. And what people also need to understand is that it's hard to get a creator off of YouTube too. I've asked a lot of people that are familiar with all of that. Yeah, Natasha screwed up. She's doing stuff that's wrong, and that's the end of story. It's her own behavior that got her kicked off of here. Not anybody else's. It's not my fault. It's not any of your fault. I've never reported one of her videos. I personally have never reported any of her videos, because I know that it's pointless to do it. The only video that I've ever reported is the one that was about her deceased aunt, because I think that was fucked up, and I don't think that was okay, and I didn't like that. They also used my thumbnail, and I didn't like that either. But that was the only video in my entire time on YouTube that I have ever reported. Because I believe in free speech. I do. But I don't like that being thrown around as like, an excuse to treat people like shit. There's a line. Yeah, YouTube is your job. Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. And that's the, hold on. I've been watching you so bad. Yeah, I have. And T. Adams, I can't even stress this enough that I'm in a good place. I'm very confident about what I want for this channel. I'm going to do drama. I'm going to do drama and commentary. And that's what this channel is for. My serious topics are going to be moving elsewhere. But, I do have a voice. I think I've always had one, but I've always been just that I'm a nice person. And I didn't realize that people on YouTube were not going to have the same courtesy for me. But if people want to play like that, I can play that way too. Very easily. Anybody who talks to me privately knows that I certainly have opinions. And I do have a temper at times, which I think people will find entertaining. And maybe I shouldn't keep it off of here. But yeah, I'm okay with being here, and I know how people work in here. All I'm asking is that, if you want to come at me, if people don't like me, you don't like what I'm saying about somebody that you like, come at me, right? Come at me. But, Oh, thank you for coming over, Nanax. I appreciate your being here. I recognize your name. Um, I actually, yeah, I think I definitely recognize your name. Um, oh, is it Nana times three? Is that what that is? I'm, that's clever. I like that. I think that's what it is, or I could be wrong. I like that though. Um, Well, hold on. Who did I miss here? Yeah, let's. Oh, yeah, right. If you bash coworkers, right? Think about it like that. Exactly. Think about it like that. If you're like in your job and you're being horrible, you're not doing your job right. You're breaking all the rules. Like you're gonna get held accountable. You don't get to just sit here and do the things that she's done and not have consequences. She's gotten away with a lot. And Ginger, that is what I want to do. I want to do drama in a respectful, honest way as best I can. Now, am I always going to be perfect? No, I do have a temper. And I've always said that I don't come on live if I'm angry. But I think that I should stop, censoring myself as well, because there's no point to it. There's no point to censoring what I think about people and what I say. And who I support. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be like, you know, I I'm not going to be like secretive, or I'm going to be open with who I support. If I like a creator, I'm going to make it clear that that this is somebody that I like. There are some people that I haven't made up my mind on yet. There are some people that I don't like on here, and that's just human nature. There are some people I'm very disappointed in right now, that I wish would maybe take a look at what they're doing on here. But I can't force people to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna be part more. I want to be part of this community more. I'm gonna be up on panels. I'm gonna be doing panels on here. It's just today was kind of like heated, and I'm afraid of like getting peen bombed. But I know that I can put up a thing. I'm not. It's all good. And there's some good people here, and I like the community here, and that's what people are like. They're like, oh well, if you don't like it here, if you don't want to handle it here, go somewhere else. And maybe that's why I'm moving my other channel, because people in this community, whether they want to admit it to themselves or not, I've done the market research here. I do marketing business. It's what I do. It's how I talk. People like drama here. They do. What they don't like is people going real life and stuff like that. Most people, there are some people that find that very entertaining. I tend to see that in specific places, like in Natasha's, and, now going over to Dorothy and, really egging her on to escalate behaviors. And that's what scares me. Because some of these, and I am talking about subscribers. Yeah, I sure am. There are some subscribers that are willing to go very low. And they will like, try to get a creator too, and they'll throw money when they do. And I've seen it, and it's gross. It's entertainment for them. What I don't think they realize is that, like, put yourselves in those shoes. Would you like it? And I also want to make it clear, guys, whoever called CPS on Dorothy, I don't like that either. I don't think we should be calling CPS on anybody. Okay, like, that is where I stand on that. I want to make that clear, because I don't want to overlook the fact that she had that happen. And guys, I don't think she's lying about that. I do think that genuinely did happen. I've heard from some people that are close to her, that was very real, and I don't like that. And I don't like it happening to anybody on here. But let's see, she bashed all the time. Yeah, right. And I've actually been part of this community for a while, just not as active. Like, I've been here for over a year. But yeah, the real life needs to stop. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, I get that if you support Dorothy, you might not like me. And that's fine. That's okay. You don't have to like me. But what you're not going to do is contact my family and talk a bunch of nonsense about things that you know nothing about, to people that have nothing to do with this. So I am going to separate my channel from here. So, if people want to come at me, make videos about me. Go ahead. I have things to say about a lot of people. I have one person in particular that I'm going to be saying it, because technically they are a creator, yes, that, I find very problematic. And, I don't, I don't appreciate it. There's some people that are kind of abusive on here. I don't know if anybody else has noticed. But yeah, the real life needs to stop on all ends, nobody's children should be brought into this at all. Like, if I could, that is like the number one thing that I hate, is the whole, because that's traumatizing to a kid. Okay. It is. And child services is really overworked, and you're taking resources away from a child that is in need and needs help, and you are making it so that people have to go out there, and it's not right, and people need to stop. and people's private lives also. So if somebody puts something on YouTube, then fine, and I did put my dad, but my dad did my dad insult any of you guys? Although I would love to say what he thinks of Natasha, because he does. He has thoughts on that. Actually, I have to ask him if it's okay for me to share that first, though. I don't see why it wouldn't be. It's not anything crazy. It's just like more of a clinical analysis of some of the stuff, just from his professional things. But there should be a law about that. Absolutely, Nikki. I agree, because it's not right. People shouldn't be. And I also agree with that with law enforcement. Now, I know that some people disagree with me on this, and and I'm sorry it felt violating to them, but like the people going on Facebook and saying, I'm so and so on YouTube. And but you have to, there are some people that they've pushed and pushed and pushed and have done some pretty vile stuff themselves. So obviously there are going to be people that are angry. And do I think that people's photos should have been shown? No, I would not have done that. But you got to look at the big picture on that too. But why are we calling Homeland Security and the FBI, and why is Kelly the advocate? Well, how is that helpful? Why for showing a picture on YouTube? That makes no sense. And then you had Natasha saying today that it's cyber terrorism and gang stalking. I looked into that, and I don't know where she's getting that from, or if her attorney, maybe Lana's her attorney. I'm not sure. Or somebody that's really, maybe went to Google school. I don't know. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, are you serious? Like cyber terrorism? And she's dead set on that too. She's like, they flagged my channel. It's cyber terrorism. She literally said that. And nobody, this is not because anybody flagged her channel. I don't know how much louder I have to scream that. This is because she has done some awful stuff here on YouTube. End of story. No arguments. That's it. Yeah, well, Michelle, you've seen some of the text stuff that I've sent you about what my dad, because my dad was interesting. Yeah, my dad looked into it, because he always looks into things. But I know she's not an attorney, Ladybug. I was joking, but I think sometimes she thinks she is. I think that whole situation, that's a whole other thing. I've tried to. Yeah, right, on YouTube. It's stupid though. Nobody did this to Natasha. If you're listening and you like Natasha, she knows it too. She's not stupid and she's not delusional. And she's also not in denial. She's doing this because it gets an emotion out of you guys and it gets people to open their wallets. And that's all that matters to her at all. That is her motivation behind these things. Do I think that somebody broke into her house? No, I don't think anybody did that. I don't think that was real. I don't, or the first, second, or third time that it happened. Nobody from YouTube was outside of your home at 12 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning. I'm sorry. I don't believe that. And she's gotten money for cameras. How many times now? How many times? And she's said that she's had cameras and then she doesn't have cameras and then she has to have a fund for cameras, but then they weren't charged or they weren't on. How convenient, right? I don't know. I had a whole thought train on that too. Whenever I hear, I'm like, this woman must be the most unlucky woman in the world if all of these awful things truly, but it's something new every night for her to and people, it works. Look at it though. Just look at the motivation. The minute those things come out of her mouth, the super chats roll in, the funds. Nobody's texting her about the funds douche canoe. Nobody cares about her funds. Nobody cares about that. Do you see how that works though? It kind of makes people feel bad for her, so they donate, and it works. So of course she's going to do that. And I don't understand why people don't see that. And I know for myself, when I was part of that community, in the back of my head, I knew I was being manipulated, but for whatever reason, I didn't care or whatever. I don't know. I saw the problematic behavior is what I'm saying. I was not manipulated, but I saw the problematic behavior. But it's so true. It's people have to notice that. And anybody who's left, even some of the people up on panel, I could hear it in Scarlett's voice sometimes that you can tell that she's saying what Natasha wants to hear, but she doesn't believe a word of it. And I can hear that in some other people's voices as well. There are also some people that go up on panel though, and they do feel that fire. They're like, well, I think you should be madder. I don't think you're mad enough, Natasha. You should be more outraged, or get, all of that. And, half the time she's not even paying attention to the people up on panel and she'll just go and take over them. I saw that on Dorothy's. I'm actually kind of surprised. Dorothy doesn't strike me as somebody who would allow that to happen to her channel. But then, I have a clip of her saying, I'd give you my channel, like what is the purpose of that? I wouldn't give Natasha my channel. Although she does have two, doesn't she? Yeah, she does. She has like the clapback queen or something. I don't know. Which I don't know what the difference is. You do that on both channels. So I don't know why we have two. Yeah, right. The logistics of it doesn't make sense, Rody Gal. The logistics of deadbolt breaking, but the lower lock being okay. And then somebody just so happened to have an extra door that they could put on your, what? That doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Like, if somebody wants to explain to me how that makes sense, then fine, but it does not to me. And people have to know that. And, right. Well, Rodigal, that's what's going on though, and that's what's dangerous is that there are a lot of displaced subs, and a lot of those people don't want to go to Twitch or to Facebook. Obviously, Facebook's one that you're playing with fire on that, unfortunately, because there are people that will screenshot those things. They will. I'm not one of them. I don't. I 100% of the time there's somebody watching that doesn't like people that's gonna screenshot. But they don't want to make an account elsewhere. They like YouTube. They're familiar with YouTube. They're creatures of habit. They like the panels on here, so they're not going to want to do that. And they have nowhere to go. So of course, I've noticed other creators turning up their drama and vile factor to 100, and trying to get those people to come to them instead. And it kind of works, but you're going to have to keep I think Dorothy and Natasha are two separate types of awful. But I think if you like people getting berated and torn apart and dragged for days and days on end, then Dorothy might be the channel for you. Had stated bastard Mrs. P and then played victim. Yeah. I never agreed with that. I made one video about it once, and it was standing up for Mrs. P, because I just, because she went over back to Natasha. I just wanted to remind her, like, some of the awful stuff that Natasha had said about her that was not okay at all. And I never liked the fact that people made all those clip videos about her either. That always bothered me a lot. Because, yeah. And Mrs. P seems to be in a much better place right now. So that's good. And I'm happy for her about that. And I think she knows, she knows. She knows that Natasha is not nobody's friend. So hold on. People thinking Southern Sass is entertaining, funny. Yeah. Oh yeah, T. Adams. True. Yeah, and she also, I think a lot of that is an act for her too. Like part of me in the back of my head, obviously speculation, can't prove it. The fact that she lives in a trailer is part of it. Is because it makes her relatable to her target audience. And the crosses. So she's trying to come across as somebody who's relatable to the people she's trying to connect with, and the image she's portraying, in those aesthetic ways is more so like. People would be like, somebody like that would not do that. And yeah, she does not, I didn't even know, like, I don't consider Florida to be Southern. Like, I don't think, technically it is, but when I think of like Southern charm, Florida isn't what I think of. So I didn't realize that like the Panhandle part was like that. I mean, maybe it's not, but yeah, she has a really, really strong accent that I've only heard, not in Florida, but, I don't know. I've only been in like the touristy parts of Florida, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, the right, and the subs do encourage it. So yeah, so like it's like the worse it gets, the more money that people are gonna throw at it. And that's why I'm saying, like, if I see people that do that, I don't like that. Yeah, I think it's an act. I do as well, T. Adams. And yes, I don't. Yeah, she's definitely not your nice Southern lady that is welcoming to everybody and all of that. Like what you think of in the movies. Oh, you're still here, Mrs. Portland. Okay, yeah, that she does. She knows how to trigger people too. And Mrs. Portland, you are one that she loves to do that too. And then you kind of you lose your temper, and then she likes to point the finger and say you're the bad guy, and I don't. I've always hated that. I've always, and good for you, Mrs. Portland. She doesn't control you. Don't let her push you around. Don't let her belittle you or any of that. Don't let any of her, the mean people do that to you. Just do your own thing, and you'll be fine. You've got quite the personality. So nobody could ever say you don't have a personality. You're very fun. And when you're in a good, when you get angry though, you can go at it with the best of them. I've seen that, but I don't think, yeah, she purposely did that to you. I know. I saw myself. Oh, it's close to Alabama. Oh, maybe. I guess that would make sense. But yeah, the whole thing, and I did do a video, and then I noticed that she does have crosses elsewhere. But then I found out later on that the where she has crosses in the other part of the room is where her chair used to be, like way back when. So they are all clustered behind her recliner. And nowhere else really in the room except for there and where her recliner used to be. And I think that's really interesting, because people don't think of that. The southern, religious southern lady. They're going to think to themselves, and they're going to be like, oh, that person, I can trust them. That's somebody that I would meet at church, and has all of these values and morals. And it turns out it couldn't be any further from the truth with that. And I thought that was interesting as well. But you're in Kentucky. That's, yeah, Kentucky. Oh, okay, I've never been to Kentucky. I've never been to a lot of states. I've been to the coastal states, but not any of the any of like the you guys know what I'm trying to say, like the middle ones. Oh yeah, Mrs. P, you also though, like you having any sort of success on YouTube was something that she just could not stand, and you could tell. So, and Mrs. Portland, I will tell you that I do apologize for any comments that I made about you that were hurtful to you. I didn't mean that, but I feel like I've only done one video about you, and it was in your defense. So yes, but I have said some things that I shouldn't have, and I apologize to you for that. But nothing like Natasha. I've more no, yeah, no. And Miss Portland, you don't, yeah, I can tell that. And you seem to be in a much better place, and you had a plan for your channel. You've got some merch that you're working on, which I think is awesome. And yeah, you just keep doing you, and obviously, you've actually got quite the following over there, right? I mean, you're much better off on your channel than you have a much bigger channel than I do. Yeah, and yeah, right. And the thing is that you apologize, and I think that's great, Mrs. Portland, because you're a very nice woman when you're not, angry. When you're angry, then yeah, I would be like, oh, I'm gonna stay away. I don't want you as like, and because you've got a lot of character, personality. But when you're just yourself, you're a very nice woman. And really really fun person to talk to. But yes, and Mr. Portland, you guys are a fun team, though. You are, yeah, and exactly. We're gonna move forward, exactly. So that's all I'm saying. Since a petition, only 500 plus have signed. Really interesting. I wonder, Daisy Duke, probably. I bet there could be one to keep her off of YouTube. Sure, I'd be interested to see if that gets more traction. Honestly. And I will say though that I was very interested to see that I put the video I posted about Dorothy, and talking about some of the things that I've seen that were concerning, that kind of highlighted the behind the scenes and the scheming stuff that she does. It's gotten, and I know that to some people this isn't a big number, but it's gotten 1,500 views in just a few days, and that's actually more views than I've gotten in like that short amount of time than even Natasha. So clearly there's a lot of people that don't like Dorothy either out there, that she's burned. And I've heard some of those ladies' stories yesterday or 2 days ago, and she's burned some people pretty badly. And I'm not familiar with her old community. I think it's called the Truth community, the Truthers. I don't know what they call themselves. But I'm not familiar with that community. But there were some people over there that she's burned pretty badly too. So yeah, I'd be interested to know. I would be interested to see if a petition to keep her off of YouTube would gain much more traction. She does have a really good a diehard following, but I do think that based on her I'm talking marketing right now, like with her target demographic, with the typical age of her audience, I feel like her moving to another platform is not gonna work very well. I think that if she was to continue on here, she'd continue to grow. But I don't know. Just speaking for myself, even I, as a 33-year-old, I don't want to go and make accounts on these random other apps that I have no interest in. Yeah. Right, T. Adams, you're right. You're right. Yep. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm glad Mrs. Portland unblocked me. And I think that, if people are kind and helpful and supportive, I think that'll make a difference. I do. And I think Mrs. Portland would appreciate that. I think Mrs. Portland is quite happy that Natasha is no longer on here. So, um, yeah, she definitely right. And she doesn't you can tell even in her lives, she's not getting nearly as many people. I don't know how many people are watching her Twitch. I did see her Facebook. She was barely getting over 100. Not that I should be talking because I've never actually had more than 100 people in my chat, but she also has a huge following and has been working at this for a while. I'll get there. Um I'll get there because yeah, I know what I want to do with this channel, and I think it's I can take it. I can take it. Yeah, because I don't really care what people say about me. Is if it's lies that are just ridiculous, it frustrates me, or if it's my business that you're putting online that nobody should have the right to say, but me, yeah, that's a problem. But if you want to make fun of me, go for it. I really could care less. I probably just won't even listen to it. I just don't like to be lied about. And, there are some people on here that really like to lie about things, even though they could talk about so many other things. Like, go ahead, go for it. I can take it. You want to laugh at me for other things? Go for it. Start a petition. Yeah, I think you could. Yeah, somebody could start a petition. I'm surprised nobody has. But yeah, so I'm probably gonna get off of here soon. I'm really glad people came over here. And I'm really glad that I saw some new faces in here. If you have not subscribed to me, like I said, I will be doing drama and commentary on this channel. And that's what we're doing here. This will be like the stuff that you guys enjoy and that you guys, you see on other channel. I'm not gonna do real life. I would never go real life on anybody ever. Because I don't think that should be a term of engagement on here, right? So like, it's like the art of war or whatever. There should be agreements on both sides where we're not gonna do that. We're not going real life. But yes, I'm really happy to see all of you here. If you want to hit that thumbs up on your way out, or if you're listening to the replay, go ahead and do that as well. And I appreciate each and every one of you for your support very, very much. And Mrs. Portland, that's great. I'm really happy. Maybe someday I'll get to 1,000 subs. Maybe we'll see. I think I can do it. I'll get there when I get there. Slow and steady wins the race. But I'm really happy for you, Mrs. Portland. That's wonderful. That's really exciting for you. And yeah. Well, Ladybug, I'm sure there are some creators that do have a big community that would be more than happy to share that around. There's definitely, I mean, I don't have a huge community, but I think that would be an interesting social experiment, if anything else, just to see if that can pick up more traction. That would be very telling. I'd be interested. And yes, thank you, Rhoda Gal, for modding. I appreciate your being here. And yeah, everybody have a great night and stay safe on those YouTube streets and don't do anything I wouldn't do.